Everyone, I am Gitakshi, biology teacher of Cambridge International School Dasuya. As you know, CIS Dasuya is taking all initiative to help our students during the time of crisis. Our school is doing special efforts for sharing e-learning resources. Today, I am also going to deliver a lesson on a topic respiratory system, but before starting it, I would like to thank our principal Mr. Anit Arora for guiding us about various resources which we can use for online teaching during this critical time of lockdown. He also remained a constant source of motivation and mentorship all this tough time. I also would like to thank our coordinator, Ms. Ritu Rambani ma'am, for her time spent in guidance, supervision, and providing feedback is invaluable. So moving forward, today I want to discuss first chapter, exchange of gases, and here I will start a first topic, respiratory. So today I am going to start chapter exchange of gases. In this chapter we will discuss different topics in different days. We have to cover four topics: respiratory system, ventilation of lungs, composition of air, exercise and breathing. But today I am just going to discuss in detail about respiratory system. In end of this lesson, you will be able to understand regarding structure of respiratory system, structure of lungs, what is the purpose of cartilage in trachea, different types of muscles like intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles, external intercostal muscles, features of cilia, mucus, and what are the features of efficient gas exchanges. So let's start about respiratory system. As you know, in human and other mammals, the oxygen is obtained from air by means of lungs. In lungs, oxygen dissolved in the blood and carried to human by a circulatory system. Here, heart pump blood to lungs where the blood collect oxygen. The blood return to heart and is pumped around the whole body where it deliver oxygen to body cells. You can see the diagram of breathing system or respiratory system. Our respiratory system starts with the nasal cavity. First of all, when the air entered through a nasal cavity, air is warmed and filtered as it entered the body. Then next you can see the trachea. Trachea brings that air into lungs that trachea is supported by a ring of cartilage. Then you can see the thorax. Here, the lungs are enclosed in that thorax. They can be expanded, compressed by movement of thorax in such a way that air is sucked in out of lungs. So lungs are joined to back of mouth by trachea. Trachea is further divided into smaller tubes called bronchi. When enter the lungs, and subdivided into a smaller branches called bronchioles. Then further bronchioles ends in a mass of tiny air sacs where actually exchange of gases take place, and it is called alveoli. Then you can see that ribs. Ribs are present here which are used to protect the internal organs lungs. Then you can see a diaphragm. Diaphragm is a sheath of connective tissue and muscles at the bottom of thorax that helps change in the volume of thorax to allow inhalation and exhalation. Then next you can see different types of muscles: internal intercostal muscles, external intercostal muscles. But the question is, what is intercostal muscles? These are the muscles which are present between ribs and which control their movement during inhalation and exhalation, and is to pull rib cage and another is to pull it down. Muscles which are formed outside of rib cage. As you can see in the diagram, the muscles which are formed outside of rib cage is called external intercostal muscles, and on the other side, which is formed on inside rib cage, is called internal intercostal muscles. Here you can see the function of cilia and mucus. Passes down to lungs are lined with ciliated epithelial cells. These cells are called ciliated cells, having tiny hairs on the end of them that push mucus up the passage towards nose and throat, where it can be removed. Mucus is made by goblet cells because they are shaped like cup. The mucus trap particles, pathogens like bacteria, viruses, dust, and prevent them getting into lungs and damaging cells there. We will discuss whole mechanism of respiratory system in different steps. In first step, you can see the diagram of lungs or respiratory system. In this, air is entered into lungs through a tube called trachea. It is a windpipe that connects the mouth and nose to the lungs. Here in this diagram, you can see the trachea. Trachea is supported by a ring of cartilage, as I already discussed with you in earlier slide. Now, what is the purpose of this cartilage? The function of cartilage is to support the airways and keep them open during the breathing. If they were not present, the sides may collapse inwards when the air pressure inside tubes drops. In this step, you can see the trachea is now divided into two smaller tubes called bronchi, with one passing to each lung. Further bronchi into the lungs, they are subdivided into a smaller tubes called bronchioles. So here in last step you can say bronchioles and in tiny air sacs called alveoli. So alveoli are the site actually where the gases exchange take place. It is the site where gases diffuse in out of bloodstream. So here in this diagram you can clearly see that how air enter through nasal cavity, then move to trachea, then bronchi, then in bronchioles, and finally alveoli where the actual site for exchange of gases. Here you can see the diagram of single alveolus having thin elastic walls formed from a single layer of cells called epithelial cells having a dense network of capillaries. In human, there are about 350 million alveoli with large surface area. Here you can clearly see in the diagram, oxygen in air diffuses into lungs and the carbon dioxide move back into bloodstream. Large surface area of alveoli make it possible to take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide at a rate to meet body demand. Exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide across a respiratory surface as in lungs depends on the diffusion of these two gases. Diffusion occurs more rapidly if there is a large surface area exposed to the gases which allow faster diffusion of gases. So there should be a large surface area. Second, there should be a thin wall to ensure diffusion distance remains short and wall should be moist and permeable. Why it is permeable? So that gases can easily pass through them. Then there should be extensive blood supply so that to maintain a higher concentration gradient so diffusion occur faster. And last point is a large diffusion gradient should be there. What is the meaning of this line? Large diffusion gradient means there is a big difference in the concentration of gases at 2 points brought about ventilation. So here we end with this topic respiratory system. Now let's recall again all the topics. So firstly, we discussed about the structure of respiratory system and the lungs. Respiratory system, we have discussed about how air entered through nasal cavity, then to a trachea, then further divided into bronchus. Bronchus is further divided into bronchioles, and finally alveoli, where actually exchange of gases take place. Then we have discussed detailed structure of lungs step by step. What is the function of diaphragm, ribs, in different type of internal costal muscles, external intercostal muscles, external intercostal muscles. We have discussed about the purpose of cartilage in the trachea, and it is very important question. The cartilage supports the trachea and prevent it from closing. If they were not present, the sides may collapse inwards when the air pressure inside tube drops. Then we have discussed about ribs, intercostal muscles. Ribs are used to protect the internal organ lumps. Intercostal muscles, there are two types of intercostal muscles, internal and external. The muscles which are formed outside of rib cage are called external, and the other set is formed inside rib cage is called internal intercostal. So we have discussed about features of efficient gas exchange surface. It should be a large surface area, there should be a thin wall to maintain a short diffusion distance, there should be a good blood supply, good ventilation with air to ensure a steep concentration gradient. I end this topic with a small video and hope you all are able to understand our objective of this lesson. In the end, I also would like to wish you stay home, stay safe, study hard. We are always with you to help you.